We're talking about ghosting Spotify, a how-to guide
Yeah.
today. We are happy and excited for anyone and everyone to show up. And there will be a replay if you need to duck out early. So
Yeah.
probably be on your your newsletter, my newsletter, it'll be everywhere.
You'll be living on the internet.
And that's the place to be at times. So let's jump right in here. Ghosting Spotify, a how-to guide, this collaborative piece that came together led by your immense efforts, truthfully. But ghosting Spotify, what a reaction from the old internet, huh?
Super fun. Super fun. Such great comments. People are obviously like, people are already thinking about this a lot.
Hmm. Yes, that's the fun thing is because there's always that talk too, whether in the comments of this piece or online in general, of well, we're not all going to get off Spotify. We're not all going to get, and it's like that's not what we're saying. Like as because there's more and more because it didn't happen that way either. We all didn't just hop on the internet and have a Spotify account.
Yes, exactly.
We heard about one or two other people that were like, "Oh, you're not on Spotify. You should be on Spotify." Then we started to be on Spotify. But now, as we go in the opposite direction, just in the same way we see, like, "Oh, wait, you're not on Instagram anymore. This person's not on it. Maybe I don't need to be on."
Yeah, I don't need to. Yeah.
So, so it's interesting to see the reaction in the comments of people saying that, like, "Yeah, I've been meaning to do this, and thanks for this article."
Yeah, there's like a feeling, I think, that's very analogous to the social media way that people feel kind of like pinned in, like, oh, I don't really love what this company is doing anymore. I don't like what it represents, but I also feel like, how do I get out? Because now, like, everything that I do related to this pretty important part of my life is there. How, like, I don't even remember how to do music any other way. So and one of the comments actually brought up something that we didn't even talk about in the article, which is like podcasts and audiobooks. So like that's
Mm,
like a whole other thing. We were really strictly just talking about music in this, but people like have a huge universe that they're hosting through this corporate platform. And it can feel hard to like extricate yourself out of there and think of alternatives,
yeah.
even if it's giving you the yuck feeling. And honestly, Seth, like the reason I started writing this article, I actually could and was kind of writing a different article when I first started on Substack. One of the things I was going to offer to my listeners, because I do curation, is how to use Spotify, like kind of like how to play with the algorithm to get better recommendations. Because I think that's like one of the frustrations a lot of people have, is that they're just getting kind of like crap recommendations. And because I'm like out there just doing my like soupy curator thing, I get great recommendations from Spotify. And so I was like, oh, I could teach people how to do that. But then the more I started digging around, I was like, oh, I have a really hard time recommending this service to anybody. And then when I did the audio test, I was like, oh, dude, I'm out. I'm out.
That's the most important part of the audio, what it sounds like.
It's so heartbreaking.
Hmm.
Did you get a chance to do the audio test yet?
I didn't because I don't spend a lot of time on Spotify anyway.
Yeah.
So it was yeah. I didn't really pay much mind to that. I'm sort of all over the place anyway. But hearing that and seeing that, like, yeah, it seems like such the par for course for such a company like that would like have such a kind of to be considered be the biggest music streaming platform on the internet and then like to have subpar audio quality. It's like of course they did. So
Yeah.
everything else that they could do to tie you in, podcasts and audiobooks, all that stuff, like, and yet, oh, we're gonna skimp on the audio quality.
And also, I think like part of what also I heard a lot of feedback is that the user experience on Spotify is just like way better. I mean, it just is like
Yeah,
that's just a fact. Like
it's pretty
they,
good. Yeah.
it's visually really great. It's organized really well. Like you go move over to something else, it's just not going to be quite as good in that way. And for artists, like I had a lot of artists telling us, like, you can
Mm,
control a lot more of like your branding and stuff through Spotify than you can on other platforms, and that's like a benefit. They see that as a value add. So, I
sure.
mean, they have a lot going there that is working, but there's all these other things that are like completely unethical. Um, and I mean, we could kind of like I don't know if you want to get into what those things are.
Ooh,
Um,
hot takes.
hot takes.
That's the hot stuff. Well, yeah, that to even just on the surface level of the questionable parts of the company, like no company is truly benevolent. They're all out there trying to make money, this, that, and the other, and but at the same time, we have a choice then of like what we want to use and where we want to invest our time and our money, our monthly premiums to. I mean, I did a thing not too long ago, a little workshop about getting our photos off of the cloud because it's
Hmm.
like I don't want to keep paying Apple $3 a month to hold all my photos. I can hold them myself. And so it's kind of that same thing. And of course, so anyone could reply here right away. Well, what about Substack? Substack. I get it. But like when there's choices, I can't do this on MailChimp or Kit. So, we're doing it here. And we also get to take this and move it somewhere else. We get to export our email list if we want.
When the
So we have
time
options, we have choices here. Yeah. So it's a little harder like investing then time and energy and all that curation then with a playlist service or a streaming music service. Then it's like, where do we want to put that time and energy? And like there's a whole bunch of reasons to not do it on Spotify, that's all.
Yeah. And there are cool alternatives. I mean, one of the things that I really enjoyed, I listened to, Liz Paley do an interview on my local radio station. She's the one that wrote the Ghost in the Machine article that kind of like
Mm,
outed this whole thing about there being these stock companies that are pumping kind of like fake music into playlists as a way of bringing down their royalty costs.
yep.
And she also wrote a really important book called Mood something. I forget what the exact title is. We can put it in the notes afterwards. But
Yeah.
Liz Pelly is the name of the journalist. One of the things she said is like, we can't look to like a VC backed venture thing to be like the single solution to this whole issue of music. If we're looking for like a one and done solution in our life in that way, like we're just going to keep getting the same results. We're going to get another Instagram, another Meta, another
Mm,
Spotify. Like the solutions are going to be in decentralizing things and making users and artists central and the corporations not centralized. And we can do that. I mean, like the internet kind of started that way, and like
mm-hmm.
there's movement to start doing that again. And that's what I'm excited about is like, it doesn't have to be that everybody stops participating in Spotify in order for the tides to shift too. Um, there's a guy named Ben Jordan who I listed a video that he did, and he was talking about like if there's just like enough energy moving in the right direction, like Spotify's whole ecosystem is contingent upon the contracts that they sign with the record companies. And if the record companies are like, looks like people are not into this anymore, they don't have to sign those contracts again.
Mm-mm.
The whole thing just goes. So,
And I think too for that, when again when you and I've done this in the past. I don't, if you remember RDO back in the day, RDIO, it was like 2008 or something like that. That was one of the, sorry about that. That was one of the big first music streaming platforms out there. There was Lala.com before that, RDO. I loved RDO. And I built my collection on there. I put that, yes, yeah, RDO. Lots of love for that. That was such a great platform. And I was like, that was at the beginning when I was like, I don't need to update my iTunes anymore and put the album art in there and all that stuff. and I built my collection on Ardio, and then Ardio went away. And
Mm,
it's like, oh, now I got to build my collection somewhere else now. So yeah, to your point, like all this time that we've invested in Spotify, it can go away tomorrow, or one label could go away tomorrow and really wreck your collection.
yeah.
So yeah,
Totally.
it's really messy when we put all our eggs into one basket like that, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you, I mean, since you have so much experience with helping people deal with like the psychological issues that come with like being so entrenched in the social media universe and just being like, well, this is just how it is and there is no alternative. And like, I hear so many people just say things like, I've been working with a lot of like bands and artists and stuff, and you say something like, oh, well, you don't have to have an Instagram account. And they're like, what? Yes, you do. And I'm like, yeah, no, there's people out there who aren't doing that. I mean, like,
Hmm.
how do you explain that to people in a way that like welcomes them into like alternatives that feels like fun and welcoming? Because I think it like puts people into like almost like nervous system paralysis to think about not participating.
Right. One of the things, one of the kind of points I usually bring up is if you're on Instagram and you gain 1,000 new followers somehow overnight, something like pops off, whatever. The next time you post something, you'll be lucky if 100 people see it
Yeah.
out of that 1,000. That's such a small percentage. And so my thinking is like, you can get 100 people on your email newsletter list. Like 100's not hard. That's that's do and then you get to reach 100 people all the time whenever you send out a newsletter. So all this effort that we've been putting into social media, that's the biggest thing. Like I would, because I would always look at artists' social media posts and like, oh, here's this big anniversary thing. And it got 97 likes, but they had 28,000 followers. I don't know the exact math on that, but I'll just throw out like, yeah, 93% of your fans didn't see that. Like,
Yeah.
no one knows.
Yeah.
So a big part of that is just reframing it, not so much of like, oh, this got 98 likes, more like 98% of your followers had no idea you posted
No
it.
idea that happened.
And
Yeah.
it gets people thinking a little bit of like, why am I putting all this effort into stuff that nobody sees?
Yeah.
Then I'm able to be like, because then everyone's scared of like an email newsletter or updating a website. I'm like, you have so like, you're not starting from scratch. You can just take stuff from social media and put it in your newsletter. Because again, no one saw it. So now, like that image and that 300-word caption, that's a newsletter. And so
Totally.
just kind of
Totally.
gets people thinking a little differently of like, oh no, it's all this extra work. And it's like, it's not. You can send one of those a week and and be done with it and spend the rest of your time like practicing your guitar or walking your dog.
It's so true. I mean, the thing is that okay, when I started on Instagram, I was like in that sweet spot where it was just starting, and so I was like one of those accounts that this is when I was a jewelry business, and
Mm,
I mean, it just like like my numbers just went up, and I was talking to my people, and it
sure.
helped me sell stuff. I was making money.
Yep.
And then and then I hit like a certain plateau, and then they were like, "Okay, now you're going to have to pay to play."
Yep.
And it totally changed the dynamic of my business, and to pay to play was like much harder of a thing to do. And yeah, I was not talking to my audience quite as directly anymore. And so I switched my efforts over to email, and like I mean, I just recently went back through all my email campaigns and was like, oh my gosh, made so much more money that way. Anyways, there is an analogous thing going on here with Spotify is that people get stuck in this whole idea that, they're like, this is what is, this reality has always existed, which it really has not, but it
Hmm.
feels that way because it's everywhere. All your friends are doing it. This is how you share playlists. All my stuff is here. Like, how would I even extricate myself from this? I don't even know how I would begin. And my thesis here with this whole thing and what you and I talked about is just like, can you just make it fun? Like, can you find
Hmm.
one fun thing to do off of Spotify that you enjoy? You
Right.
know?
Years ago, um, oh, what was the band? Shoot, of course I forget the band name. But a friend of mine and four of his friends bought this album, pre-ordered it, and it came in the mail, and they saved the records till the day it came out. And they met at my friend's house and opened the record and listened to it together.
Mm,
Like that was great. Like you can make little fun events for yourself with this stuff. Like it doesn't social media and I think the streaming stuff has just so isolated us with this. It's such a solo experience so often. Yes, we share playlists and stuff like that, but like seldom are we in the same room listening to stuff like this together or in a car listening to this together.
yeah. I mean, and playlists are cool for sure. They're great, like for shareability. But I mean,
Hmm.
remember, like used to rip CDs or like even back in the day doing the mixtape on the cassette,
Hmm.
press the play button. I mean, like that and like handing somebody a mixtape. I mean, the like heartfelt little notes on the
Well,
cassettes. And,
yes, and not to get too like old man yells at cloud, but it's gonna sound like that. There's enough gray hair here. But like you could like growing up, I couldn't access a playlist of like all the seminal punk rock music I needed to hear or
mm,
hardcore music. Or like I had to find friends and piece stuff together and figure it out on my own and read zines and CD thanks lists to figure out who, or see a band member in a band photo and they had a shirt, a band name on there. I was like, I wonder who that is. That's how I found out about Mr. Bungle from a Faith No More video for Epic.
mm,
That dumb video where he's wearing a t-shirt. Mike Patton's wearing a t-shirt said "a tractor in my balls" or something like that, and it was a Mr. Bungle shirt. I was like, "Who's Mr. Bungle?" And of course, me and my friends in high school in the band we were in, we discovered then who Mr. Bungle was, and it blew our. It was like, who is? What is this? And
what?
but if it was just, oh, let me just look him up online real quick. Let me bring him up on YouTube. I don't like this. It's like, oh no, it was such a moment.
Yeah, it's like finding a treasure.
Yeah. And so also too what you talked about of like making a playlist or burning a CD, like making a mixtape. There was like work to it. And again, this is the old man yells at cloud. It's just so easy now. And because it's so easy, especially too, because we can just let Spotify like suggest music to us all the time and fill up our playlist. It's I don't know. I don't know. It's like we need a certain amount of calories per day, and yes, we can make up all those calories with cereal. But like it's just so much more fun to like having pizza maybe or some vegetables. So I don't know.
Mixing it up. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's just like figuring out what turns you on and like different little ways to engage with music in a more conscientious way, like whatever that may be. And I think it really is different for different people. Like, not all listeners are built the same. And I think that's
Hmm.
one of the things that one of the articles I read was really pointing out in my research was like, like audiophiles are often the people who are writing these articles about like you should leave Spotify and I'm an audiophile, so like I could make the case, but there's a lot of people out there who listen to music in a particular way, and Spotify has kind of created a solution for them, which is they've created background music. And, so it'd be nice if, we actually create like solutions for those people too. Like what's like a pleasurable, joyful way for those people who actually don't go super deep into like going into all the albums and the liner notes, but they just really want like a really good playlist to listen to while they're making dinner or while they're
Yeah.
doing yoga, or they need something to like decompress because they're super stressed out, like that's what Spotify does. So what's the alternative?
Mm.
And how can you engage with music in a way that creates that? that space. And there are places for that. Like people suggested there's lots of like online radio stations that do those sorts of things. And um,
Like
you
Mixcloud has a ton of old playlists and stuff like that that you can kind of search for by themes and stuff. It's not perfect, but
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I
y-
think that's. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that yes, for the casual, one of the things with the casual fan part I find too is a handful of artists now that are communicating with their fans and not linking to Spotify. So that's almost in a way a subversive way of like just leaving it out. Like, yes, it's on Spotify, but when I announce my new song, I'm not pointing there. I'm pointing to Bandcamp or my own site. I think that's one small way that because musicians are awesome. Like artists are cool. And so like they should be the one kind of like directing their fans to like this cool place where it's at. Like, yes, I could play this cool, pristine venue over here, but I'm playing this house show over here. That's a little scary. Maybe you don't know that neighborhood well or whatever. You might get lost, but like that's where I'm playing. And if you want
Yeah.
to see me, that's where I'm going to be at.
Yeah, it's an invitation into the real world. You know, that made me think of, I didn't mention it in the post, but there Michael from Mad Records, he did an
Oh
interesting
yeah,
post about how Facebook ads work for Spotify. Because there's like this whole like ecosystem around trying to like get people to listen to your music on Spotify and like syncing it up with ads. And
yeah.
the thing is that like you can get people to listen once, but there's no tracker for getting people to listen to it again. Like
Mm,
it's just still like a one and done thing. So just like, it's so incredible to have like an email list that you can actually build fan and like have ongoing connection and relationship and like get to know these people over time and like have like a meaningful back and forth relationship. Like the
hmm.
ads, it literally is like dumping people into your music to listen to it for like maybe a couple seconds and then that's it. And then
Right.
you're just
And
supposed to continue to pay for that over and over and over again. And
it,
those are the streams
right.
that people are paying for to get. And it's like, what kind of quality relationship are you building? And there's no way to capture the person's information on
Mm-mm.
Spotify
Oh,
because there's no interface there for fans to interact with the artist. There's no
no.
place like, hey, you want to join my email list, which would totally change the game.
Never. Never. Spotify has to keep those emails because they want to market to your fans. That's how valuable email is. Like that they're not going to share that. Never. Ticketmaster's not going to share that with you. Wouldn't it be great for all these touring artists to know like regionally where people are buying tickets? No, no, sorry, you don't get that.
I know, but then you look at Bandcamp, you can contact the artist directly on Bandcamp. You could just be like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to email you right now.
Right.
Add your,
Right.
I mean, there's all places to opt in and be in relationship with the artist. It's not like it's an impossible thing to pull off. It can be done. It's just choosing not to do it. So, like, that's like another reason to be like, well, is this really the kind of environment we want to be participating in? Because, like, it's one thing that they're not paying artists very much money, but like, there could be other ways to incentivize the relationship.
Right.
I mean, the other thing that I've heard that talked about, which I think is kind of interesting, is that because music has changed so much and like production standards have changed so much, is like there's just way more music being made, and not all of it is super great music. And now you have like AI music being made too, which is kind of like just slop
Mm-hmm.
mixed in, and all of that's being uploaded to Spotify. Like hundreds of thousands of songs are being uploaded to Spotify every day. Not
Right.
all of it's good. Not all of it deserves to be like people earning a living off of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a huge bottom half of what's on there that probably is just not meant to be making money anyway.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we're
Well,
kind
and
that middle tier, the people who are kind of like in the middle, the top artists who are like, super, already well recognized, they're kind of handled. They've got contracts. It's the people that are kind of in the middle who are like really talented, but are kind of getting shysted on both.
which which has always made me sad, literally, because like I would see all these artists speaking from the social media side of things that would like give up because like no one sees my stuff, they would say. Like I put out this thing, no one cared. And I always said like no one saw it, no one knows. Like because so many artists are just doing the same thing. They're tweeting about it once and then going about their day and then never talking about like you can't, like you have to be incessant about it on social media at least because of algorithms. And it's just so much that Spotify social media thing is just so much the allure of like, well, all the listeners are there. They're all there, and I could capture some rather than, and this is a big thing I always write about. There's people right in front of you that love your music.
Hmm.
What are you doing there? What are you doing for them? How do you make them feel special? Like,
Yeah.
if anything at all, like it doesn't have to be super exclusive private performance and play in their backyard. Like you can reply to them. Yeah. Like I mean, so I think that's a huge thing. And I know that musicians and artists, all sorts of creative folks would love for their art to stand on its own. I know it'd be great. That'd be so wonderful. But there's people that you just spoke of people putting out whatever they're putting out. They're the ones hustling. They're the ones playing the game, and they're the ones getting good at the internet. And they're the ones kind of taking some of that attention and taking some of the few scraps that exist. And so if you're not doing anything at all, and these people like that's kind of all right, because we see it all the time. Super talented people that get crickets, and then we see who is this? What is this crap playing right now? And it's like they know somebody. They
Yeah.
knocked on someone's door. Like
I saw a
instead of
really great clip with Tyler the Creator, and he was talking about young people today, and that like people will post something one time, like this new
yeah.
song. He's like, you brought it, you thought up the song, you recorded the song, you produced it, you did it, you edited it, you went through this whole process to bring it to the point where you could actually release it, and then you post it one time, and
Hmm.
then you back off. And
Yeah.
he's like, you put so much heart and soul into it, and then you just put it out there one time, and then if it doesn't like hit or go viral, you just are like, okay, bye. He's like, I'm out here a year and a half afterwards.
Yes.
I'm still pumping the same
Yes.
stuff. I'm still trying to tell you guys, come listen to my album. It
Yeah.
takes that long to get people to come and figure out and connect with your work. You have to keep driving the message over and over and over again, inviting people in and talking about this beautiful thing that you made that you're passionate about. You have to just keep inviting them in, and you're not bothering them if they're
No.
fans.
Right. If they're fans, they want to hear from you.
Yes.
Yeah. And like, even if that album is a year old, even if that song is 6 months old, it's new to someone. Talk
Yeah.
about it. Someone
Oh,
heard Led Zeppelin for the first time today. Like,
so
I
true.
live I live in a college town and I see kids with Nirvana shirts. I'm like, yo, like
I know. It's
I know where I know where I was the day I heard that Kurt Cobain like died. Like I
I
know the exact moment, and like you're wearing a Nirvana. There's a little band across the street that I hear playing even flow, practicing even flow on their guitars.
oh my
Little babies, but
god,
like even flow's new to someone, and that's Pearl Jam.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I guess like, as we kind of like round the quarter on the conversation is like, I mean, I just hope people really like, whether you're an artist or you're a listener, is that you just are really finding joy in your music. Like, figure out at least like one thing that you just that lights you up, whether it be like a listening party or, if you do find an artist, like one thing that you can do if you are staying on Spotify and you just like, whatever, it's too hard to leave, is like, the artists that you're listening to a lot, go to their go to their website and join their email list. Like that's a free thing that you can do to like support
Hmm.
them, get hooked into their little ecosystem and be a part of what it is that they're doing. There's lots of suggestions in the article of things that you can be doing that like, amp up the joy, amp up the connection, that don't require you to completely like, disembowel your whole digital life. But if you want to, it can be done. And there are really great examples of people who are doing it. Olivia Rafferty, who you talked to a couple weeks
Hmm.
ago, she like
Yeah.
super awesome example of like how her life's been totally enriched by getting off of Spotify.
Yep. And just put out an album and sold almost 100 physical copies. There's artists out there with like management that don't sell 100 physical copies of a thing. Like she did. Laura Kidd, who
Oh my gosh, I
uh
was just like going on a deep dive on her website and this kit
yeah,
better with the digital album idea.
yeah,
My mind's
yeah,
blown.
exactly. And did not put up this new album on Spotify. It's not on any streaming service. If you want to hear it, you hear it on Bandcamp or you buy their CD or their vinyl.
So her artist name is Pen Friend. Is that what
Pen
it is?
Friend, yeah. Yep.
And y'all need to go check this out. She's got like a whole ecosystem of stuff going on where she's just, I mean, it's like a fan club bonanza over there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what artists can be doing. And it can be, I mean, it looks like a blast,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
instead of relying on like, oh, well, the industry used to be this way. Why isn't it doing the thing that I want it to do the way it used to? It's like, well, like people like that who are just like, well, I'm just gonna figure it out and just do it how I think I might connect with people.
Yeah, I asked her, well, if you don't push Spotify much, like your Spotify numbers aren't great then, right? And how'd you book this new show that you got coming up? She's like, I booked the venue myself. I just booked it. And and sold out from her email list alone.
Wow.
Yeah. Like if you can't get booked at whatever venue, like rent someplace yourself. I mean, is that harder? Yeah, yeah, sure. But guess what? You do that 4 or 5 times, then it gets a lot easier. And
Yeah.
now you're like, What venue? What?" And then, yeah, then you have more control, like more of the pie. So yeah, there's
Yeah, I
to
get
your
what
point,
artists
as we
want to do because it feels like running a business, and artists don't want to feel like they're running a business. I get that.
you're right, the hiding thing. Oh my god, no, no, I'm an artist.
Here. But if you as an artist can't do that, find someone who can for you. Like this is something when I was a jeweler, this is something I would talk about all the time. It's like if you really know for sure that you just can't get your head in that space, then you need to assign somebody to do it for you because there's no way that you can make your art and bring that beauty that wants to come through you into the world
Yep.
if you don't have somebody who is going to do that for you. And if
I,
you can't do it yourself, find somebody who can because
yeah,
we want to see your work. We want to
right.
hear your work.
There are so many creative people in all the facets around music. Like I've seen photographers that just hustled and like became friends with all these bands and stuff. And music is all about like who's a good hang. Like who do you want to be in the van with you? Like who can you put up with? And then this one for Gabe something. I remember him from Instagram. But then yeah, then he got to be pals with bands, and now he's managing bands and like touring and like taking photos of bands all over the place. Like because he just stayed around that ecosystem. Like I want to take photos and hang around bands all the time. And as far as I know, that's what he's still doing.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Awesome.
so we should wrap this up. We're 35 minutes in, but to your point, like to absolutely close this, like be okay in finding the joy around music, and if you're curious to quit Spotify or whatever stream, like there's a lot of stuff out there. Just talk to other people. And that's one of the biggest ones too, is just talk to other people that love music as well. And they'll point you in the right direction too.
Totally.
So
Totally.
rewatch this video, subscribe to our newsletters up here. You can click there and subscribe to our newsletters, find all that cool. You're gonna find cool stuff when you talk to people that like cool music. So
Yeah, that's super true.
yeah.
There's a lot of great stuff. And in the article, there's a link to the music directory, which is a treasure trove of like all the people on Substack who are doing banana stuff here and like all the curators, the educators, everybody. So
Yep.
that's a huge resource if you're really into music
Yep.
and you live on the Substack stratosphere.
Quick shout out to Cassie from Dedicate Your Life to Music, who that's how you and I connected.
Yep.
And Cass is doing amazing stuff in that space. So
Yep.
got to give credit where credit's due. So
Yes. Thanks for connecting us.
yep. Yep.
That was a pretty magical connection.
Yes. Yes. Awesome.
And it
So
happened in
go.
real life. It happened in real life. It happened in
That's
that
bananas too, right? Yeah, that you like.
is not
That's so
digital.
cool. Right. Go to shows. Go hang out. Yes. I love
Mm.
just some mustard right here. Just saying, mustard loves Cassidy Frost. There we go.
Oh,
We'll
and
end on
mustard.
that.
I know mustard too, because mustard used to be one of my clients, and then I found
There
out
you
that
are.
music writer also.
Do
Yeah,
cool stuff. Hang around good people, and you'll make this work. So
yeah, right
go
on.
with that. All right.
Thank you so much for
Cool.
your time and your collaboration on this. This is such a fun
Absolutely.
topic.
Absolutely. We'll keep doing this. All right. Bye,
All
everybody.
right,
Take
bye,
care.
y'all.
Bye.